This is a more serious one. I read this earlier. So, okay. Steve said to us a while back, it may not be a question that you guys necessarily want to hear, but I just feel like I am losing interest in kilts. Losing interest in the novelty. Maybe I'm getting old. I just don't feel like a peacock quote anymore. It may just be my general depression, which I've been dealing with recently, but I rarely make the opportunity to put on a kilt like in the last 3 or 4 months. How can I think he wants to know how to get his mojo back, basically.
Fair. So how do you maintain your love, appreciation, that spark for Highland wear? I would start with this. Life in general, interests in general, ebb and flow. Like it's like, the tides, they come in and they go. So just because you're a little bit, you're not as excited about it now as you were when you first started wearing a kilt, it's okay. It could come back. It's like with a lot of things, it all comes full circle. You go through cycles in your life. I wouldn't get rid of this stuff. It's expensive. I would put it to the side and just kind of let it go. If you want to kind of reignite the spark, a couple things I would say. One, if you've never been to Scotland, if you've never been to Ireland, if you've never been to Wales, I would say go on a trip, take a tour. I may go with other people. I would try to find something happening locally where you can, join in with other people who are going to be doing something, kilt related, culture related. If there's a Celtic festival near you, I would check that out, where there's going to be other people who share the interest around you. It could be as you said, it could be depression. It could be you're going through, your wife has cancer or something and she's going through remission and you're pouring all of your heart, soul, and energy into supporting her and you don't have much time for yourself. It's okay. It's okay to love things passionately for a period and then kind of back off for a while and come back and reignite that passion later on. So I wouldn't get upset about it. I would just take it as part of your experience in life, and you'll find your balance. You'll find your way through it. Eric, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it on 2 levels. I think on the heavier side, real life comes first, as we say. If you're going through a major life change, if you're going through difficult circumstances, if you're dealing with, like you said, like a loss, or if you're dealing with a major shift in how you're able to make a living, health problems of your own or anything like that, of course, that's going to be your main focus and priority. The question then is, the thing then is to not let something like this become burdensome. You have no obligation to be expressing this 24/7 every day of your life. Conversely, if you can find a way for it to feel more therapeutic, it might be helpful. But it's not a race. It's not a competition. It's not like you're going to get drummed out of the kilt corps. If you're not representing properly, you're not going to get, taken out, booted from the gang. The important thing at any point in your life is self-care. And if your fashion, if your heritage interest is part of that self-care, fine. If it isn't right now, that's fine too. The only true constant is change. So the trick is to accept that and ride that and move through the waves, because they happen to everybody. On a lighter note, there's nothing wrong with having multiple interests, especially if you're kind of a flighty ADHD obsessive person like me. I will spend a third of the year in a very gothy kind of a mood, a third of the year in a very Victorian kind of a mood, and another third of the year in a very 60s mod, reggae culture kind of a mood. And it varies. And my brain will want to switch gears once in a while just naturally, because I obsess over something, study it a lot, I'm really into it for a while, and then it's like, okay, that tank is full now, time to switch gears. And so that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So there's nothing wrong with you for any of this. And maybe I'm stating the obvious, but there's nothing wrong with this, nothing wrong with feeling like this. The trick is to, as they say in Taoism, know when something no longer serves you and you instead serve it. Bottom line. We're talking about very materialistic stuff here. So in the long run, it's secondary to other concerns of being a human.
I would also point out that we don't know how long ago Steve got into this. If it
That's
was,
a good point.
when you first get into kilts, I'll liken it to like the drug high kind of thing, where the first time you do drug, like it's high, and then the next time it's not as high, and it keeps going down with the same amount of drugs. I learned this in health class, kids. No, but it's one of those things where if you're excited about the attention you get when you go out in public, you're excited about the amount of people reacting to you. You're excited about that nervousness to going out, and then you have all these positive comments. Maybe it's a little bit of that. It's that it's
Something
not
of
that original excitement as much, and over time you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes habit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like we say, like when you go out to the grocery store, and at first people are looking at you because you're wearing a kilt, and then eventually a while later, like a couple of years later, people are looking at you like, why are they looking at me? It's like, oh right, it's the whole kilt thing. I do it every day, so I forgot. So familiarity breeds
complacency,
not apathy or contempt. but yeah, just like, and that's fine too. But
I would say whether it's due to depression, whether it's due to boredom, whatever the issue is due to, find your tribe, find your people, find friends to help you up, to prop you up, to lift you up, friends where you can kind of forget your troubles, forget the world, forget your depression for a little bit. Not that you can forget depression, but you know what I mean. Just forget your circumstance. Even for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours out on a Saturday night. Just have a mental break where you can just unplug from that thing, whether that's being with like-minded people, whether that's watching a movie and engrossing yourself in a book, whether that's giving yourself some kind of break to just separate from it. But if you find that within a tribe, within people who share a common interest with you, if that common interest is culture, that common interest is kilts, then good on you. That will help you kind of get through the thing. If you're not in the Kilts and Culture group, I would say go to Facebook and join our Kilts and Culture group. We have a ton of people over there. We try to get together. We have the rabble rousers, guys that get together wearing kilts. So if you're looking for people of similar mind, there are places where you can find those people. That's the one beauty of the internet, one and only, is making all these weird little tiny niche subcultures into easily accessible. Like back in the 80s, 90s, way back in the 1980s, 1990s when I was a kid, you didn't have, it wasn't as easy to find that group. Now we connect with people across the country, across the globe with ease due to the commonality of these groups. So, yeah.
We had zines, and we were grateful. We had posters on the sides of telephone poles, and I'll tell you what, we paid more attention to them than you kids pay attention to your meal at dinner time. And my son, when I ever talk about how much of a pain in the ass he is when it comes to eating his vegetables. Anyway,
I had to tear off a piece of paper to get my guitar lessons.
Seriously, the bottom line is be kind to yourself. As much as we are passionate about this stuff, this is a hobby. This is not a litmus test. You're not a fake. You're not an untrue Celt or Scot or whatever. And it's here. If you need to go away for a while, it's always going to be here to come back to.
Yep.
It is, in that sense, it's something you can absolutely rely on. So, yeah.
What's the Bruce Lee thing? Be like water. Just let go. Follow your passions in life. If they lead you back, great. If they lead you somewhere else, great. You want to be happy and follow your passion. That is what life is all about. Indeed.
Wash day.
Here endeth the lesson. Solange, I hope that helps.
A little rambly, but hopefully it helped.
Indeed.
So, thank you for watching. We've all been there. Hard times happen to everyone. And levels of interest change over time. So tell us in the comments, what keeps you going in those tough times? And when you need to recapture that spark, get that inner fire going, what helps you get over that hump and really enjoy your life more? It's all about the living, folks.